You know what? Sometimes I do this and it's like the best thing ever. And it really is the best thing ever, but then I turn around and it's like, no, it's not. Usually I get on here and I like to talk about promoting positive changes and things like that. So I want to continue that and talk about healing inner childhood wounds. I don't think that's something I really just touched base on, but I think I think I've touched bases on it, but I don't think I've ever just really went into depth into it. So I just use my personal experiences and hope and pray that they resonate with whoever sees my videos or whoever comes across my videos. I just pray that whatever experiences that I've been through, whatever experiences that I've used to overcome certain life circumstances, if you can hear it and if it resonates with you, if you want to apply it to your life, go right on ahead. That's the whole purpose and that's the whole goal of me doing this. So when it comes to inner childhood wounds, first things first, the reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of the issues that we as young adults, older adults, whatever, face in life stems from our childhood, whether it be from abandonment issues, physical abuse, verbal abuse, rape, molestation, the list goes on. Whatever your story is, understanding that it has some type of tie into how you are today. I don't know everyone's story. I can only speak from mine, so I'll just use mine as a personal example and we'll go from there. So first things first, let me just give you like a little breakdown. As we all know that I am transgender, I have lived my life in a shell, closed off from many of the world due to the fear of judgment, due to the fear of pretty much just abandonment. Always having this feeling that I'm going to be left behind, that something better is going to come along, and when that something better is coming along, that I'm just going to be forgotten about. And this has been a fear of mine since I was a child, you know? And that stems from me not feeling as if I received what I needed as a child in order to be a better person in today's society. Now, my childhood was not the best upbringing. And I've stated this in a couple of videos before. I've stated this to whoever I speak to, you know. I did not have the best upbringing coming up as a child. If it wasn't one life circumstance, it was another. From the first life circumstance that I can remember, being fearful of my father and the things that he would do, the things that he would say, and how he would react to certain things. And when my father went to jail, it transitioned from my father to my older brother. You know, the fear of him abusing the hell out of me and my other brothers, or whatever the case. There were so many things that took place within that situation alone in itself. Then transitioning over to, you know, coming into the life circumstances of not feeling as if I received what a child needed. And I'll elaborate a little bit more into each one, more into detail. But first things first that I do want to say is that if you are in this state of feeling as if, and this was for me, because it was very hard for me to accept it, to own it, and to be okay with it. If you feel that your childhood was not the best, if you feel like you deserved way more as a child, it's okay to feel that way. I myself had a very hard time with feeling this way, just because I'm someone who is a firm believer that nothing in this life is promised to you, not even as a child. You know, nothing's perfect, nothing's set in stone. However, that does not mean that your feelings should go unwanted, not even just unwanted, unnoticed, especially your feelings towards yourself. You should always honor how you feel, and you should always be truthful with yourself. So in this moment, I have to be truthful when I say that my childhood was a complete and utter fucking mess, all right? And no matter how much I try to sweep things under the rug, no matter how much I try to be like, you know, it's okay, things weren't perfect, no one has a perfect life. No. I understand that nobody has a perfect life, and putting the blame on anyone is not something that I'm going to do here, and this is not what I'm doing. This is literally just about healing, because a lot of times you literally just have to talk about certain things in order to not even just overcome, just to heal from them. So when I say that when I tell this story, give my examples, I don't want this perception of I'm blaming someone or I'm complaining about something. No, I'm literally just healing on a public forum with a video. That's it. All right. So first things first, I really want to talk about is accountability. Accountability for the things that you've done, the accountability for the things that that happen in your life, taking accountability for the things that you are responsible for. None of us are perfect, right? None of us are perfect. You have to take responsibility for the things that you have done to people, the things that you have done in life, the decisions that you have made. I have made some of the worst decisions in my life, and I'm gonna tell one of my worst secrets. And it's a secret that has stuck with me since this day has happened. I remember one day, and I was very, very young. Very, very young. I was with my brothers, and we were at my aunt's apartment. And there was a girl in my aunt's apartment who had a hamster. And this hamster was not my hamster. I didn't even know the little girl, truth be told. But I remember I wanted to play with her hamster. And I was playing with the hamster, and I remember the hamster like bit me or something. And then I remember getting so angry about it that I ended up literally just literally taking the breath out of the hamster, like smushing it with the toy that was inside of the cage. Not my hamster. Not my pet. Nothing of mine. And so, I remember after that incident, of course I got in trouble for it. I did not take responsibility for it at the time. I think I was like 5 years old. I think I was 5 or 4. Because I hadn't gone to the Boys and Girls Club yet. And I remember when I was at the Boys and Girls Club, I was 8 years old. So I had to be 5 or 6 years old when this had happened. I remember when it came to me, like the girl came with her mom knocking on everyone's door, like asking what happened to her hamster. And I remember not taking responsibility for it. But my aunt and grandma knew. They knew. They were like, that was you. We're going to beat the shit out of you. Get your ass in the corner. And I remember I vividly remember standing in the corner that day and just thinking to myself, I'm going to hell. I just killed someone. Because I didn't see the animal as just like an animal. I saw it like as a soul. It's crazy enough, as 5 and 6 years old, I saw things like this, but I saw it as a soul. I just felt like I had took someone's life. And I was just like, fuck. Like, fuck. And I remember vividly standing in a corner, because my aunt used to put us in the corner all the time when we did stuff bad, you know, whoop us and then put us in the corner. And I remember having to stand in that corner and face this, and just in my thoughts, in my head, and facing this, and facing it, and facing it, and facing it. And all I could think was, you're a fucked up person, you're a fucked up child, you don't deserve to be here, and your life's gonna be complete and utter shit for this. And so it was. Granted, nothing was really great before that, but it just kind of went downhill from there. Now, in the back of my mind, this played over and over and over again. And it still plays in my head to this day. So first things first is I want to take responsibility for that. I never took responsibility for that until now. So I'm pretty sure that the girl's not watching this. I'm not sure if she remembers this or whatever. If she does come across this. If you were a girl whose hamster was, you know, and it was in wherever, you know, if it was in Houston, you know, sorry. I truly am sorry for the actions that I did. For not taking responsibility. For not having understanding. I truly am sorry. Now, with that being said, and with that out of the way, it's time to like talk about like actual healing when it comes to your childhood and traumas that other people have caused you. Now, if you're still watching this video and you didn't get like completely turned off within the first story that I told you, congratulations. Thank you, but congratulations. I don't know why I said congratulations, but congratulations. Um, Coming up as a child, before all of my mental issues started coming into my life circumstances, things weren't easy. I had a very abusive father. I had a father who used to beat the living shit out of my oldest brother. And it terrified me so much because I always felt like that I would be next. I always felt that if he did that to him, he would do it to me. And so I always had this vivid image of my father being very angry, very violent towards not just my oldest brother, but to everyone. He was violent towards my oldest brother, my mom, my aunt, just everyone. And this traumatized the mess out of me. It made me fear men, especially black men, because I didn't have the understanding of why you were so angry or where did the anger come from. And when my father went to jail, when I was about, funny enough, my father went to jail around 5 or 6 years old. When my father went to jail around 5 or 6, I can't even remember the exact age I was, but I know he was 5. I was 5 or 6. My father went to jail. My fear and pain, the fear that I had for him transitioned to my older brother. My older brother used to beat the shit out of us. And granted, when we were at home with my mom, it did not happen. But when we were at my grandma's house and my aunt's house, my grandma and my aunt gave my oldest brother free range to, whoop us, whatever. And my oldest brother was no older. He's literally 3 years older than me. So he wasn't that much older, and I didn't have the understanding how he had so much authority over us. So much authority to the point where he would beat the shit out of us to where we were just bruised and, And I'll never forget having the feeling of not feeling safe at my grandma's house or not feeling safe at home. And I'll tell you why. When I was at home with my mom had 4 boys. Me being one of the middle child, I've always felt that my mom catered to my younger 2 brothers. And I felt my grandma and my aunt catered to my oldest brother. My oldest brother got everything he wanted on the weekends. We were with my grandma and my aunt. And on the weekdays, my younger brothers, they were under my mom 24/7. And I just was stuck in the middle. And my oldest brother, when we were at home, was just like, thrown to the side or whatever. That's how I felt. That's how I saw it. And so I was just like stuck in this situation where I didn't want to be around my oldest brother because he was so freaking evil. And then my mom, she was just like so preoccupied with my younger brothers or whatever she was doing that I was just like in this position where I was stuck. After this life circumstance, because this went on for several years, up until I think after my grandma passed away when I was 12 years old, I transitioned into the life circumstance of not feeling that I needed or I was getting what I needed as a child to thrive in this world. Now, when I say that can mean so many things for so many people. For me personally, I didn't feel I was receiving the love. I didn't feel like I was receiving the things, whether it be monetary, materialistic. And the reason as a kid, you just want things. You want what your friends have, you want the nice shoes, the games and things like that. And I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't want any of that. When I was coming up, I just wanted to come home and have lights. I just wanted to come home and have food. I wanted to come home and have water. And there were so many occasions where I didn't have that. So many occasions where I completely lost count. I need more than 10 fingers. I legit need more than 10 fingers to count how many times I would come home to no food, lights, water, gas, whatever the case may be. And that was very traumatizing. It was traumatizing for me as a child, a young teenager, because I wasn't a child at this point. I was a young teenager. And when you're a teenager, these are some of the most horrible times in your life. As a teenager, I'm going through, the works, And I've stated this before. Being called gay, faggot, whatever, that never bothered me. It was the you stink. It was the you dirty. It was the you need a brush to brush your hair. Because I used to have nappy hair as a child. It was these comments that really just hurt me to my core. Because no one knew that I was going home and I couldn't wash my clothes. No one knew I was going home and I just didn't have the things that other kids had, you know? And I would always look at the people around me, you know, whether it be friends, whether it be associates, whoever. And I was just like, I want that. You know, I want nice clothes. I want nice shoes. You know, I want this and this and that. But most importantly, I'm pretty sure you're not going home to your lights being turned off. I'm pretty sure you're not going home to no water. You can't take a bath. I'm pretty sure you're not going home to not drink water. It was so crazy that I remember I hated school so much. I ended up falling in love with the idea of going to school just because I knew there was water fountains there and I would be able to drink water. Like, seriously. So I, at one point in time in my adulthood, brushed this off and was just like, oh, it's a life circumstance. Everyone goes through something. But now I'm at a point where it's just like, I have to be like, yeah, everyone goes through something, but that's not okay. That's not okay to brush my feelings to the side. It's not okay to make it seem like that what I went through was not traumatizing. It's not okay to make it seem like what I went through did not affect me and cause me to be who I am today. And who I am today is so beautiful. Who I am today is so loving, so kind, so gracious, and so giving. However, I wouldn't be this person if I didn't go through all of those things, if I didn't have the understanding. Not even so much the understanding. If I didn't go through all of those traumatizing things as a child, and then to come as an adult and find understanding. So when I tell you that it is okay to feel like you weren't giving the best, it is okay to express to the people you need to express to. For me personally, I don't know if I'll ever be able to just like verbally, unless there's a therapist, just because like it's gotten to the point where you can't tell me what my truth is. Like, I feel like if I were to have a sit down with any of my family members, try to have this conversation with them, they'd be like, oh no, that didn't happen. I would probably get so irate, probably try to hit them and like, you know, which is why I'm doing it this way. And if they see it, they see it. Oh well, I don't really care. But this is just my truth, and my truth is my truth, and my feelings is my feelings, and no one's ever going to tell me that I'm wrong for the way that I feel. I want to take it back to when I was in that life circumstance of, and this is why I really just made this video, of when I didn't have much, you know, coming home, no water, lights, and things like that. I remember at that point in time, I wanted so bad. Before that, you know, this is when my grandma was alive. I remember before that, I wanted so bad to go and live with my grandma. Because living with my grandma, I felt that I was given attention. My grandma was the only person who I felt like gave me attention, who made me feel loved, who made me feel special, who was there for me as like a child. I felt like she was the only one. Which is why after she passed away, I went through such a depressive state for so many years, and I was lost, and I was just like, I felt abandoned. I felt that the only person who ever loved me on this earth was no longer here. The only person who ever truly cared for me on this earth was no longer here. And I remember when my grandma was alive, I wanted nothing more in this world than for my mom to sign over her rights and let me live underneath my grandma. And she didn't do that. And I remember I was very angry with her, and I didn't understand why. And I always felt that I wasn't allowed to go and live with my grandma because I was a dollar sign, if that makes sense. Because we were receiving food stamps and things like that, and I always heard it, you know, I can't let you go stay over there because, you know, I get food stamps and things like that. And not to say my mom didn't love me, but as a parent, bump that. As a child, to hear something like that, it really put me in a place where, am I just a dollar sign? Like, am I? And then to go from, okay, can't do that, to feeling like underappreciated, you know? I went so many years living under, and this is not a knock at all. This is just my feelings. I went so many years, because I promise you, I love my mother, and we have a really cool relationship now. It could be better. I wish there was more communication. I wish there was so much more communication between so many people in my life. It's crazy enough how I just nailed my life circumstance now down to one person not communicating with me, when honestly, the communication with anyone important in my life is kind of non-existent. And I just realized that just saying that now. So, but there was so many instances when I was living with my mom after that where I just felt underappreciated, where I felt undervalued, because my mom, she had, like I said, she had 4 kids, and the 2 youngest ones were heathens, you know. Until this day, I still feel that way. I still feel that my mother is very, 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 very hold my 2 youngest brothers very close to her heart, more than she does, you know, myself. I'm probably my oldest brother, and I honestly have just chalked it up to me just being completely independent, not needing her, and being able to find shit on my own. And I honestly feel wholeheartedly in my heart that that is true. However, it does not distinguish the fact that as a child, it's not okay. So, anyone who hears my story, anyone who hears this story, anyone who has a similar story, no matter what it is, whether, I'm gonna put it out there because I feel like someone needs to hear this. Whether your parents put you in situations where you were physically abused, whether you were in a situation where you just felt like you had to grow up way too soon, whatever your life circumstance is, first things first is to acknowledge it. First thing is acknowledge it. Try to have an understanding, try to have compassion for yourself. Because I promise you, if you're feeling this way, right here and right now, you're not in the, your headspace is a little kind of fucked up, just to be completely honest, because mine is, as so many individuals in today's world, but a lot of people don't want to admit it, but it's the truth. So many of us are so fucked up in the head that we don't want to face the truth. We don't want to go back to our past. The past is the past, and I'm one of those people who are like, the past is the past. However, the past makes you the past makes you who you are today. And if you can't heal from the past, then you're gonna forever go on and hurt not only other people but yourself, because you're not healing from those issues. And when you're healing past issues, not only are you healing for yourself, you're healing it for your ancestors, you're healing it for the generations to come after you, and ultimately that's what we're here to do. If you feel this nudge, if you feel this feeling to heal anything from your past, do it. Because guess what? I don't like to say this, but hey, guess what? You're a light worker. And when I say a light worker, I mean that you are someone here to break generational curses. You are someone here to change the way things work, change the dynamic. Even though you weren't taught anything about light workers, I wasn't taught not a goddamn thing about light workers. I grew up in a Baptist household, Baptist, Christian, whatever the case may be. I don't know. All I knew is that I was told, hey, if you don't listen to this goddamn rules that God said in the Bible, you're gonna go to hell. And I have completely walked away from that belief. I completely walked away from the belief that a man has set, and I have started trusting the relationship that I have with God, myself personally. Anyone can build their own personal relationship with God just by talking to him, just by listening to your intuition, because he lives in you, you know? And you just follow your heart. Following your heart literally will lead you to so many great places. But acknowledging your situation, acknowledging your pain, your trauma, and your hurt is the first step to healing it. And after you acknowledge it, you can assess whatever pain, whatever trauma you're having inside of you. And when you assess it, you literally have to be honest. If you have to have conversation with your parents, you have to have conversation with your friends, if you have to have conversation with your siblings, and if you feel like you can't do this, just having open conversations with someone. Having a conversation about what you've been through or what you're going through, how you're feeling, is so therapeutic. So therapeutic. I promise you, it's so therapeutic. You do this, and and then the work just kind of comes with it. I want to say this. You don't hold a grudge against anyone from your past that has put you in circumstances that you feel that you were not given the best out of, you know? There's not one person who I feel hurt by, whether it be my mother, my brother, my father, my grandmother, my aunt, whether they weren't listening to me, not being there for me, not being able to speak up, because I felt I had a problem with not being heard as a child. I always felt like I wasn't heard, you know. whatever your circumstance is, I don't have any type of regrets, because ultimately everything made me to who I am today. And who I am today, like I said, is the most beautiful creation on God's green earth. I truly believe that. And I truly believe that can be the same for you. It is the same for you. All you have to do is accept it, honor it, live it, find your truth, heal your trauma, and keep pushing forward. Life isn't easy. And you know the saying, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. That is very, very true. Very true. Not every day is going to be easy. And not every day is going to be just completely, most days are going to be up and down, up and down. And I myself personally, recently have been experiencing up and down mood swings for like the longest. And I always felt that it was needed. It was stemming from outside sources than within myself. But then I really just had to assess the situation. I'm always assessing my own situation and realizing that I still have a lot of trauma, a lot of things that I need to heal. And I'm going to forever have things that I need to heal, a lot of trauma that I'm going to have to overcome. But this one here, me owning up to the hamster, me telling this truth about my childhood traumas, the fears that I face, the abuse that I face, and the mental blockages that kept me hindered for so many years. Speaking on this, bringing them up, and just talking about them makes me feel so much better. So I promise you, heal your childhood trauma just by owning it, accepting it, and having a conversation about them. No matter with who it is you want to talk to, however it is you want to talk. Make sure you choose someone who's going to listen to you, by the way, when you do this. If you choose to do this, because you always have a choice. I highly advise you to do it, but you have a choice. I personally just want to heal I want to heal as much as I can before I turn 27. Look, I'm 3 years away from 30. I don't have time for it no more. So, whatever you got to do, heal that childhood trauma so that you can get out of whatever state of funk that you're in now. Because if you're watching this video and if you made it through the end to this video, if you're here right now listening to this, you're in a funk. You're in a funk. You're intrigued by what I'm saying. You're intrigued by the message. You're intrigued by, or it just resonates with you. You're in a funk. I'm in a funk. We're all in a funk. There are a couple of reasons why we're in a funk, but no matter what, we're in a funk, right? Always be choosing to heal yourself from whatever it is that's hurting you. Always be choosing to listen to yourself, to listen to your heart, to listen to your intuition. I can't stress that enough. Listening to your intuition will keep you out of so many situations that are not for you. And you're at a point in life where the universe is kind of making you do this, Because I myself am starting to notice if I start to go a certain way, things won't work out. I won't even get my foot in the door for them. Or I'll see red flags before they come, and if I still pursue to go them, then I can't be upset when I know that tower moment hits. And so many of us run towards tower moments instead of trying to not even so much as avoid them, because you can't avoid these tower moments, but so many of us choose to just keep bringing on these tower moments, and they're going to keep coming. They're going to keep coming. So always be choosing to learn the lesson, because there's a lesson in every situation, right? Always be choosing to love yourself, to honor yourself, to trust yourself, Always be choosing to communicate. Always be choosing to love. Always be choosing to be kind, gracious, and giving. And always be choosing to be the best version of you so that you can go out and heal the world just by being you. Because people actually truly feel that energy when you are yourself, trying to be the best version of yourself. You'd be surprised. You would truly be surprised. Yeah?